What if your country suddenly went from most welcome to not welcome in the blink of an eye? What if your plans, your dreams, to study, to work, or to reunite with family in Canada were now blocked by a silent ban that no one saw coming? It's happening, right now. Canada has just dropped a diplomatic bombshell. A new wave of travel restrictions has been implemented targeting not one, not two, but 10 Asian nations. Is it about border security, or something more political? Is Canada safeguarding its interests, or is it sending a message to the world? Canada, known for its open-door policy and multicultural pride, has made a radical policy shift that is now raising eyebrows across the globe. On May 28, a confidential document was leaked from Canada's Ministry of Public Safety. Within 24 hours, the news went public. 10 Asian countries will now face severe travel restrictions, effective immediately. No public consultations, no prior warnings, no time to prepare. This isn't just policy, it's a geopolitical earthquake. So which countries made the list? Here they are: India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Philippines, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Vietnam, Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia. Each of these nations shares something in common: deep-rooted migration ties with Canada, and large diaspora communities that now feel betrayed, confused, and angry. Let's break this down. India tops the list, and that alone has sparked international outrage. With over 1.4 million people of Indian descent living in Canada, the Indo-Canadian relationship has long been viewed as a diplomatic pillar. But rising tensions between Ottawa and New Delhi over political interference, Sikh separatism, and visa fraud have soured relations. Officials cite exponential growth in high-risk travel activity as the reason behind the new visa blocks and ETA suspensions for Indian nationals. But the timing, conveniently close to federal elections in Canada, where immigration fears are being politically weaponized. Coincidence or calculated? The travel ban also ropes in Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka, nations whose citizens make up a massive portion of Canada's essential workforce and international student base. Over 50% of temporary work permit holders in British Columbia alone hail from these three countries. They help power hospitals, farms, tech startups, and logistics. So why target them? Sources suggest the Canadian government is alarmed by a spike in non-genuine entry claims, allegedly linked to human trafficking, forged documents, and asylum fraud. But critics are blasting the ban as racist, arguing that the real issue lies in Canada's flawed immigration screening, not the people themselves. Filipinos are the backbone of Canada's caregiving industry. With tens of thousands of Filipina nannies and nurses working in the country, this move has devastated families. Canada claims an imbalance between labor entry and long-term residency outcomes is the issue. But what does that even mean? Insiders say this is about politics, not policy, about reducing the volume of low-wage migration ahead of a looming recession, all while keeping diplomatic statements vague enough to avoid lawsuits. Meanwhile, Filipino Canadians are calling it a betrayal of trust. These countries may not have the sheer numbers of India or the Philippines, but their citizens contribute significantly to Canada's student and labor sectors. Vietnamese tech students, Nepali construction workers, Indonesian chefs and service industry workers. With these bans, universities and businesses are already sounding alarms over cancelled admissions, visa delays, and labor shortages. So again we ask, why now? Canada claims security vetting discrepancies, but the evidence? Thin, at best. It feels more like collective punishment than a calculated response. Thailand and Malaysia have enjoyed relatively smooth relations with Canada, until now. The new restrictions on these two Southeast Asian powerhouses are the most mysterious of all. There are no major immigration controversies, no political scandals, no known security risks. Experts suggest this may be tied to foreign policy realignments, perhaps a silent nod to U.S. Indo-Pacific strategy, or a veiled message to ASEAN: fall in line with Western norms, or face consequences. If true, this isn't immigration policy, it's foreign policy disguised as paperwork. The backlash has been fierce. Protests have erupted outside Parliament Hill, consulates in Toronto, and major university campuses. Diaspora leaders have called the bans discriminatory, unjustified, and a betrayal of multicultural values. Bangladeshi Canadian media group, Bangladeshi family in Canada, Asian family in Canada, immigrants in Canada, at stock, at distribute underscore equally. My parents built their lives here. Now Canada tells us we're a threat. Even Canadian politicians are divided. Some Liberal MPs with South Asian roots are demanding clarity. NDP leaders are calling for an inquiry. So far, the Prime Minister's office has remained largely silent. That silence, it speaks volumes. So what's the real reason? Let's lay out the theories. Election strategy. With anti-immigration rhetoric on the rise, this could be an attempt to win conservative swing voters. Border deal pressure. Some sources hint at a secret deal with the US to crack down on migration from Asia. Economic reset. Canada's struggling economy can't support the volume of incoming low-wage labor and students, and this is the fastest way to slow it down. Security concerns. Some intelligence officials claim sleeper cell activity and fraud networks are rising, but offer no public proof. Whatever the reason, the lack of transparency is fueling distrust, and conspiracy theories are multiplying fast. Asian governments aren't taking this lightly. India has summoned Canada's High Commissioner for an explanation. The Philippines is reviewing bilateral labor agreements. Malaysia and Indonesia are reportedly planning joint diplomatic action. Even ASEAN has called an emergency meeting to assess what it calls Canada's discriminatory visa posture. Some are threatening to suspend visa-free access for Canadians in retaliation. Trade deals are already under review. One diplomat from Jakarta said, "Diplomat from Jakarta, if Canada thinks it can restrict our people and expect business as usual, they're mistaken." This could be the beginning of a major rift between Canada and Asia, a region vital to its trade, tech, and tourism future. Let's not forget the people affected. A 24-year-old student from Lahore who was accepted to a Canadian university has now been told his study permit is on hold indefinitely. A caregiver from Manila, who's been waiting 3 years to bring her children to Canada, is now being told the rules have changed. A startup founder from Ho Chi Minh City, who invested over $100,000 into a Canadian accelerator, just had his visa revoked. These aren't numbers, these are lives, dreams, disintegrating in real time. For years, Canada marketed itself as the global destination for opportunity, inclusion, and hope. Now, its actions paint a different picture. Can a country that bans 10 Asian nations still claim to be inclusive? Can a government that shuts out caregivers and students still claim to be progressive? International observers are watching closely. Will Canada double down or course correct? Because reputations once broken are hard to restore. Here's what we can expect. Court challenges. Immigration lawyers across Canada are preparing to sue. Policy flip-flops. Expect partial reversals if the political heat gets too high. Global pushback. Asian nations may introduce countermeasures or tariffs. Domestic divisions. Expect heated debates in Parliament and possible resignations. A media war. The government's PR machine will go into overdrive, but the internet never forgets. This is not just a policy move, it's a domino. And more are falling. If this issue affects you, your family, or your community, don't stay silent. Contact your local representative. Share this video. Comment below and tell us your story. Demand clarity, demand fairness, demand answers. This isn't about left or right, it's about right and wrong. The world is shifting, borders are hardening, politics is replacing policy. Canada's travel ban targeting Asia isn't the end, it's a signal. A preview of what the future of global mobility might look like if we stay silent. Who will be targeted next? Africa, the Caribbean, Eastern Europe? Stay curious, stay alert, stay with Voyage Pulse, because what you don't know could soon affect where you can go. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon, because tomorrow's story, it could be even more explosive. Voyage Pulse, where truth travels.